it's being a white person. You know, you're afraid to talk about race. I'm not gonna lie. Like you know, it's that thing that it's beaten into your head by the media. You know, it's not. You know, it's hard to explain. Just like, you know, what you've gone through is hard to explain to me, and vice versa. But it's.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you walk on eggshells?
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to sum up. And I felt like, yeah, you know, I could open up some. And it's not like I was going to say anything bad. It's just I like when you're saying, oh, I grew up in Annapolis here in the projects. I can't say that, and it's hard to debate, okay. You know. But
doesn't make it bad.
But I'd like to think by some white guy like myself being involved with this and you know, moving to a neighborhood like Clay and loving it, I like to
it's the only way things are going to change.
You know,
exactly. I mean,
fix the problem.
You described your Annapolis that you grew up in. I mean, I grew up in Murray Hill.
That's the Annapolis I wanted to move to. You know, where it's just a cool place to live.
You know, we stop letting society push us into this guilt trip of this separatist sort of environment, we can move forward. There's no reason for you as a white male to have to say, I feel guilty because I didn't grow up in the projects. I mean, God has provided for all of us to have different ways of however we came into being. But at the end of the day, we have some control over how we end up.
There are a lot of white people who feel, there are certain white people who feel like, get over it, you all right, you're not a slave no more. Then there's certain people who feel like, oh man, you really had it that bad? So there are different psychological feelings that people are gonna have. There's some black people who would expect you never been where I've been at. And they'll say that to you with pride. So I really respect you being honest enough to say that. I feel like the perception, I think it really comes down to perception. The perception of a black man is that he's angry and that if you rub him wrong, he will punch you in your face, right? Yeah. And that's a hard mentality to break, because how you said when you put that hood on, you know what it's gonna do. These young guys know when they pull their pants down and put their fitted cap on and wear that bandana, they know the image that portrays. And they like it because that's the only image that gives them power. When they put on that button-up shirt and sit down in that chair, they don't feel any power. But they see when they walk down the street and everybody's stopping and looking and people are grabbing their purses. Oh yeah, now I got power. They scared of me now. Then you add the gun to it. Then you add the gangs to it. This is all false power. So I just feel like we need to really understand the dynamic that everyone is dealing with, from the youth to the ministers. It's all different perspectives. So it's like everyone is valid. And I feel like most racism wins when we don't value all of these opinions.
You know, when people don't talk, they don't learn and they don't engage. And you know, this is the beginning of change.
In some respects, it's unfortunate that we have to have this type of conversation, but I think it's healthy. It's a conversation, a subject that will not go away anytime soon, regrettably. And it's important to understand each other's point of view.
Because if we look at everything from the past is the past. We can't change the past. We can't change if someone grew up in a project versus someone who grew up over on 4th Street and has a 57-foot yacht or whatever length the boat is. So at the end of the day, how can we move forward? What are the resources out there available to us to allow us to move forward? And who are the partners that we can work together with to make things happen? Because at the end of the day, our children are dying every day. Babies having babies every day. There's no connect in terms of understanding a foundation, because there's no one to say, sweetie, this is the way that you do it. And it's not a black thing, and it's not a white thing, it's not a brown thing. It just is what it is. It's a people thing.